Okay, let's see. I leased this 2016 GMC Sierra Elevation from GMC in Rockville Center, and I loved it. It was the first time I ever owned a truck. I don't have a booming business, but I'm a hairdresser and I sell things on Amazon and eBay, and I sometimes get stuff from a source and I have to go pick the stuff up. So with my car that I had before, I couldn't fit a lot of the merchandise, so I needed a pickup. I didn't want to spend big bucks. So this guy that my father used to do his hair, he worked at this dealership. He told me to come in. I spoke to one of the salesmen. He really didn't do anything for me. He didn't know, he made it so he just introduced me to the guy. It wasn't like he says, oh, come, I'll give you my friends and family discount bullshit. I just went there, and, the truck, my payment every month was like $4 and change. No money down. I just had to pay the tax, bullshit like that. Anyway, I get the truck, and it's standard everything. I mean, there's really no frills. The only good thing that I like more than anything about this truck is ethanol. But now, with this whole crisis with the government and the corona bullshit, ethanol is just as expensive as regular gas. So every time I had to bring the car in for service, even though I had the extended warranty, I still wound up paying $200 to do the oil. I could do the fucking oil myself. What does the oil cost? $24? And I get a free oil filter, put it in myself. But I said, you know what? Let me have it on the books that I brought it into the service in case tomorrow I want to sell the truck or whatever. But because it was a lease the first 4 years, I put so much mileage on the truck, and I had pings and dents all over the side from the malls, that they wanted money, more money than I expected to give, then it would have made any sense to just finance it rather than giving money to the, leasing company. So essentially that's what I did. They allowed me to finance the truck, which I do, and I've been paying it off, and it actually improved my credit rating since I got the truck, so even better. The thing, though, is that every time I brought it to the dealer, I brought it to the same place that I purchased it. And, it just seemed like every single time I brought it back to this dealer, this is a new truck. All right, now, granted, it's 2021 now and it's 2016, but around 2017, 2018, I'd bring the truck to get oil change, and there's already something funny going on with the brakes, and, I didn't do the brakes myself, I bring it to them. I could do the brakes. The fuck does it take to do the brakes? I did the brakes my whole life on every vehicle that I've ever owned. What do the brakes cost? $20? If I get them at AutoZone, I get a lifetime warranty on the brakes. So the brakes, technically, if I buy the more reliable brakes that are like $45, every single time I redo the brakes, all I have to do is bring them the previously worn brakes, and I'll get new brakes, and I'll get refunded. So, instead of doing that, I bring it to the dealer, $500 that they hammer me over the head for. But I'm like, at least I got it all on, a record that the dealer did all the work. So when the dealer started throwing shit at me, saying, oh, you got a heavy foot and you're braking too hard or whatever, I'm like, all right, so change the discs. What the fuck? I could get discs and brakes $500 online and slap them on in an hour. But, they wanted like $1,500 to do the discs and this. And I'm like, all right, so the actual discs cost me, if I were to buy the 4 discs with 4 brakes, it would cost me under $400 on eBay. And all OEM products. Obviously, they're not, GE or GMC products, but it's the same shit. So anyway, actually, the GMC ceramic brakes that I bought one time filed down within like 6 weeks, whereas the OEM brakes that I bought, I didn't have to change them for almost 7 months. So that's, pretty ironic. But anyway, long story short, every time I go to the dealer and I get the truck back, there's another problem. So a good friend of mine is a mechanic. And, he works for a very, very well-known brand, which I can't name because he might get in trouble or lose his job. But anyway, he put my truck on a lift, and he said, you're going to bring, because he rotated my tires for me. He says, listen, I'm going to rotate the tires. It's good for gas mileage and all this bullshit. I said, all right, fine. Brought it to him. The owners of this distributor didn't give a shit because I went there during the pandemic and I did everybody's hair for free. I'm a hairdresser, so 30 people did everybody's hair for free. did women's color highlights, cut the president's hair, cut everybody's hair, because I figured, listen, they like their haircut, they're going to call me. And me, what do I give a shit if I go to the dealer? It was a Range Rover dealership. But anyway, I wound up going to this Range Rover dealership, and I did everybody's hair. The president of the fucking Range Rover distributorship, the vice president, CEO, controller, this one and that one. Did everybody's hair, get straight, razor shave, haircut and everything. And every single one, I went there, did 31 people's hair. Every single one of those employees threw me $20, $25. But the president and the controller and the vice president gave me $200 a piece for coming there to cut their hair. So I made over $1,000 that day that I went there. So naturally, if this guy wants anything from me, I'll do anything for him. And anytime they wanted me to go back there, you know, they called me back 2 other times. They weren't as generous as the first time, but I'm happy to be there. Anyway, so I bring the truck there. They rotate the tires for me. And I was asking him, I was like, you know, what's the rust like underneath the truck? Does it look like I'm going to need anything done? Like, you know, how's the muffler? What do the shocks look like? He says, no, man. He's like, you're very lucky. You know, the springs look great. He's like, you know, your shocks are phenomenal. He says, the rear left brake caliper, the inner caliper isn't showing, it is less wear on that actual brake pad. He says, so you have to either rebleed the brakes, he says, or you can just take them out, spray some WD-40 on them, put a little grease in them. He says, and they'll be good to go. He says, because the front one is working, the rear wants to work, but there must be some sort of like rust or deposit, maybe dirt or grime in the actual caliper itself. I says, well, could it be that the brake caliper is fucked up? Maybe I just got to get a new brake. He's like, no, it's not fucked up. He says, it's fine. He says, this truck, under 7 years old, he says, you shouldn't have any problems with these calipers for another 10 or 15 years. So anyway, and there's another thing. Recently, I brought the truck in to go do some extra work. And I know this is a long explanation I'm giving, but I'm telling you, it's like there's reasons behind it. Anyway. So I brought the truck in because there were some other issues, and now it's funny, every time I bring the truck in for something minuscule like an oil change, they'll find something else to complain about, which is fine. Now, I bought the extended warranty for $3,600. You know, I didn't play games. They told me about it, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let me take it. You know, I had a BMW before. I've always had BMWs before this truck, and you get what you pay for. But my payment for BMW was 8 and change, whereas this was 4 and change or whatever. But BMW, every time I could bring it to BMW every single week, and they would have did something, did the brakes, the only thing I needed to do with BMW is change the tires myself and put gas in it. Otherwise, I didn't have to pay for a fucking thing. Everything BMW took care of. As long as it was under, at that time, was 80,000 miles and 5 years. Now it's, I think, 50,000 miles in 4 years or some shit like that. But sorry. So anyway, last time I went to BMW, they told me, oh, you need whatever this, you got to get this and that, the other thing done, and they wanted like $7,000. I'm like, wait a second. First of all, I have the extended warranty, so why is it costing me $7,000? They said, no, you're 5,000 miles over the extended warranty. I says, but I don't understand something. I just bought the extended warranty, and you know, OnStar has this thing that usually tells me if there's something wrong with the vehicle. Like if the brakes are worn out or if I'm low on oil or something, and it hasn't said anything to me. So why hasn't OnStar alerted to me to any of this stuff or my GMC app, yet you guys are finding all these faulty things? He says, well, the system doesn't update. I'm like, so do me a favor, update it now. Let me see what I get in my... He's like, well, we don't have control, but GMC does. I said, all right, so why doesn't it show up on my phone? So my guess is that these fucking pieces of shit are saying anything that they want, because, listen, just because I'm not doing the work doesn't mean I don't know how to do mechanical work on this shit. I've taken apart BMW fucking head gaskets. I've done transmissions on Corvettes. I've done 25, 30 transmissions on fucking Audis. We grew up, my father loved Audis. We never brought the car to dealerships. In fact, my father's best and most favorite thing in the world to do was go to New Jersey to the outlets. They had these auctions. You used to pay $100 for a fucking BMW, an Audi, an old Mercedes. We'd tow the fucking thing back to Queens. We'd open up the fucking hood. My father would take the whole car apart. It was my job to hand my father the tools and my brother's job to hold the light and help assist my father with like an extra hand on the way. So we've always been around engines. So I'm a hairdresser too. I own 2 salons. I know what it means to sell people because I've always had to sell a new service, and I always had to train my staff to sell other people. Oh, I'm doing this without... Okay, here's me. This is me. Hello, you see me? I didn't realize I was pointing at nothing. So essentially, I know when somebody's trying to sell me, and it's really sad when someone who really isn't good at selling sells you, and you know they're full of shit. So when this guy at GMC was giving me this whole lowdown of all the problems on the truck, I'm like, I don't get it, but why would this happen? And my friend who works at Range Rover, who also worked for Lincoln Mercury, GM, for like 20 years, and he worked in the factory building vehicles in New Jersey. He actually was the one that told me that the springs were perfect. There was nothing wrong with them. Everything was placed properly. He says, you're very good. You don't have, like why would they think you have a heavy foot? The tires, I change them every year, maybe twice a year sometimes. And when I go to these tire places, I don't buy no used bullshit tire. I always get Bridgestones or I get Kumo, top of the line. I mean, I don't buy Pirelli because it doesn't make any sense. I don't have a fucking sports car here. But it's always Bridgestone or Kumo. Kumo's great. I don't have a problem with them. I know they use them on the Rice Rockets, but on the truck, the Kumo is phenomenal. And Bridgestone, you can't go wrong. I leave my tires there, which have more than enough tread, and they can resell those tires without a problem. Anyway, so I just brought the truck in to get serviced. They want $7,000. Now, they gave me the list, and it shows me that the parts that they're replacing are only $1,400. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me the service fee is almost $5,500? I get like, what are they, fucking crazy? And then I'm like, I know the dealers charge more, but it's GMC. This ain't no fucking BMW. This ain't no Mercedes. It's a GMC. And I got the basic model. So when I get the basic model, they should have the basic model pricing at the dealership. Instead of saying, oh, no, we only got $110 an hour, whatever bullshit. I mean, I know they go by the book. And the book tells them it takes 3 hours to do the brakes, so it's $500. Meantime, it takes me fucking 12 minutes to do the brakes. You must be fucking mentally retarded. I can do it with a 12 fucking gauge ratchet, and it takes me 15 minutes to do the brakes, and it takes you 3 hours, you fucking retard. Anyway, not throwing this at your direction, but I'm just saying in general with GMC. So now, I get this estimate. I bring it to my friend who works at Range Rover, and he, more or less, puts a car in the lift, is scanning everything. First of all, he plugged in, wherever the fuck that thing is down there, the computer, and that tells you everything. He tells me that will tell him every little stupid thing about the car. In fact, it's the same computer that all the dealerships use. So it doesn't matter if he's Range Rover, GMC, Alfa Romeo, whoever. He says, it will show you everything. He says, and then... Sorry. And then the fact that they're so full of shit. So one of my issues that I have, my mother's a widow, newly widowed. My father passed away. I love my father. My father helped me with the truck. At the time, I was going through some difficulty financially. He helped me get the truck, and I'm indebted to my father, and I love him. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to get rid of the truck, because it reminds me of him, and I want to take good care of it. But my mother can't get in the... I was going to put floorboards on the outside, but we have a high curb by the house. All I got to do is pull up next to the curb, and she can get in and out very easily. I'm 6'7", so I don't have a problem walking into the truck. It's no big deal for me. My youngest brother's also 6'9". My oldest brother, he's about 6'3", 6'4". My mom's the only pipsqueak. She's like 5'3" or some shit, so she's got to climb in through there. So I was having a problem with the passenger side lock. So what I would have to do is I would have to open up the window, and my mom would have to open up the hinge over there and open the lock. But I brought it to GMC because I couldn't open the lock. All the cars would open, all the locks would open on all the doors except for the passenger side. So among GMC, when they went through the listing of all the stuff that needed to be redone, oh yeah, we got to put a whole new, whatever they call the motor in the door for the lock. And I was like, oh man, you know. So that they were charging me $700 and something to do that, not including the tax and some other bullshit. So I said, it's about $700 and something. So this morning, I'm cleaning out the truck because I'm giving it to a friend of mine who does detailing. Like, this is my personal truck, but I use it for work. But I don't work for someone. I work for me. So when I go to one of my suppliers, I have 3 hours to load my truck up with all the inventory that I'm going to sell. Now, all the stuff that I buy is liquidation. So all these big companies that are doing bad during the coronavirus are liquidating their inventory. I have an excellent algorithm that I figured out, thank God, to me. Online, I open up a Spotify account. I'm doing amazing numbers with, not Spotify, Shopify. I get them too fucking mixed up anyway. So my Shopify account, because Amazon and eBay, they're great, but now intellectual property rights and all this bullshit, I gotta go through nightmares to sell merchandise. Whereas I've discovered an amazing algorithm on Google, which I would love to share with people, but I know once I do share it, it'll probably go fucking wild, and everybody will start doing it, and I won't have sales anymore. So fuck them. I'm doing it my way. I'm keeping my mouth shut, not trying to, like when you see these guys going on YouTube saying, oh, you know, I got $1 million way to make money on Amazon. Yeah, I got $1 million way to make money on your own without telling anybody. So fuck everybody. Nobody was there for me when I needed help, so fuck everyone else. Anyway, I essentially, I asked them, I says, what's the best you can do with the door? Because my mom, you know, it's a pain in the ass. I got to go on the other side. I got to open the door, open the window, all this bullshit. Or I open up the rear passenger door, open that up, and then I got to undo the lock, and you can't reach it from there to there. It's not like a lock like Mercedes has that little head that you could pull. These locks have nothing. Anyway, so they were giving me a hard time. They said, yeah, you got to replace. I'm like, well, could it be maybe a fuse or something? Or maybe it's like junk on the inside of the door. They said, no, it's the whole mechanical thing. You got to take it out. So this morning, I was cleaning out the truck before I give it to the detailer. And I realized, I'm like, wait a second, what are these two little buttons over here? I never used them. One looks like it's like a door, and the other one looks like a child. So I'm like, okay, that's a child thing. That's a door thing. So I pressed it, and I open and close the lock over here, and it opens and closes. Look. It didn't do that for a while. Me, I'm a retard. I never had a truck before, so I never seen these things. I never paid attention to them. You mean to tell me these motherfuckers that work at GMC seen an opportunity? I'm asking a question about a fucking door lock, and they're hitting me over the head for $700? They don't even have the decency to say, hey, wait a second, buddy. There's a little button on the side by the door. All you got to do is depress that, and it's a child safety thing. And I'm like, that's it. You work for the fucking company. How much other fucking shit am I paying for that these motherfuckers are sticking it to me that is a minuscule nothing? So my friend that works at Range Rover told me, he said, the last time I did the rotation of the wheels, he said, you had no fluids at all. He says, and they told me something, because after I brought the truck back from that bullshit oil change that they did, the dealership did something, or the mechanic, or maybe they instruct them to fuck with the engine, because now the engine, the gears are slipping, which never happened before. And my friend, when he was doing a little bit of investigating for me under the carriage, and he noticed that there seemed to be some sort of wrench marks near, like I've never done any work under the car myself, never. So like you could say, like I've never changed the oil myself. How hard is it to go and unscrew the fucking oil, the reservoir underneath, and pour it into a fucking drain? They probably done it, and maybe whatever they did, they stripped the bolt the last time I went there, maybe on purpose or maybe by stupidity, and now the oil is leaking out of the fucking crankshaft case, which is not a big deal. Change the fucking, but you got to hollow out that fucking, or maybe it could be something else. So my buddy was telling me, he says, they did something to your car. He says, and I don't want to touch it because they know what they do. He's like, they did something purposely that would eventually erode and allow this to leak purposely so that they can fucking hammer you over the head with it. And I'm really, really fucking disgusted. I mean, I want to go there and I want to fucking kick everybody's asses, especially that little motherfucker. And let me tell you, when I go to that dealer, I go and hand $20 in everybody's fucking hand that works in that fucking garage. And I wished everybody Merry Christmas. $20 may seem like nothing to you. But when you have 30 people working and I got to give $20 to everybody, they think I'm a fucking big shot. I'm not. I'm a fucking hairdresser that does other stuff. But I appreciate the meaning of value and hard work. And if somebody does something for me, I want to thank them. So if 4 guys worked on the car, went over, gave $20 a piece. Doesn't seem like a lot, $20. Well, fuck you then. You know, I don't have $100 for a person to give shit away like these guys on YouTube. So I'm really, really fucking irate right now. I want to fucking rip somebody's arms out of their sockets. That takes a lot of balls. I'm bringing my truck to you. I don't get any kind of like sort of protection. So I'm really disgusted. And like GMC, you mean to tell me if they did just scam me and say, oh yeah, we got to change the pump on the fucking the door, and if they didn't know that you just got to press this button over here so that works, the childproof, they shouldn't be fucking a mechanic over there, or they should fire their asses because they're useless. And number one. Number two, for them to scam people to come, the place was packed. I was there 7 hours at the dealership. 7 fucking hours. I don't want to ever see these motherfuckers ever again. If I go back to that dealership, there's gonna be helicopters on top of the fucking place because I'm gonna fucking do something that I'm gonna ruin my life with. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna hold everybody hostage, or I may go there and murder everybody. Is that worth a fucking $80,000 or $60,000 truck? Yeah, I would make these motherfuckers taste their own blood, and that would be like enough satisfaction for me to spend the next 40 years in jail. What do I give a fuck? I won't have to pay taxes. I won't have to fucking do shit. 3 square meals a day, roof over your shoulders, play fucking cards with my friends. What do I care? Fuck it. So, you know, that's the thing that really fucking ticks me off, that this dishonesty is out there and people are so fucking cheap. You got a good job. All you got to do is just do it instead of fuck with people. And GM, they should have some form of quality controls for employees. Like, I was watching this guy, John Quinones, on 2020 or whatever the fuck show that was. What would you do? They set up a sting operation, or Chris, what the hell's that guy's name that did that pedophile show? Chris Johnson or some shit like that, where they brought the car to a dealership and they unscrewed something and they would ask the mechanic, oh, what's wrong with it? And meantime, he would fucking write up a $1,600 bill for something bullshit thing. Meantime, it was all you had to do was screw cap in, and they should bust them. That's what they should do. That's what GMC should fucking send people there randomly with a car with something that any mechanic would be able to fix. Maybe a relay switch or something, just to see how honest or dishonest the employees are. The dishonest ones, not only should they be fired, but they should have something on their record that states that forever will follow them, that shows that they were dishonest in writing a review somewhere or something, that they shouldn't be trusted. I love this truck, and for more sentimental reasons, I love it even more because my father and I spent a lot of time together in this vehicle, and I'm sorry that I trusted these pieces of shit. And I know that GMC, you're a great company. I own your stock. I wouldn't buy your stock if I didn't think it was worth an investment. I bought a lot of your stock, and I didn't buy your stock when it was low. I bought your stock when it was high. So you guys made plenty of money on me. My dividends are nothing, too. I could have stuck my money in fucking Tesla and I would have got amazing dividends. You know, I didn't invest $3,000-$4,000 either. I'm just going to let you know. I spent high six figures on the fucking stock. So that's my retirement. So anyway, my dividends are nothing, a couple of $100 every couple of months. You know, Tesla, my dividends for Amazon. First of all, I bought Amazon at $300 a share. And when everybody's telling me that I was crazy for buying 1,000 shares, now look at those fucking stocks. And that stock, I'll guarantee Amazon 10 years from now will be $300,000 a share. And I'll sell my fucking Amazon. I'll sell half of my Amazon stock and I'll be okay. GMC, you know what? When you guys convert to electric, maybe if you find another technology like hydrogen or maybe nuclear or whatever the fuck, maybe any other alternative source, or solar or geothermal, or what's that other thorium driven car, last a lifetime, never have to gas it up. You'll be the number one car maker in the world. So I'm betting that my GM stock will fucking explode in 10 years. But so all I ask is that if I can bring my truck to get serviced by an honest dealership, 26 minutes of me ranting and raving over here. You think I have time to do this shit? I'm wasting time. I'm not making money someplace to make this fucking video. I'm sick and fucking tired of these lame-ass excuses that these fucking dealers are giving me. This truck has... how many miles I have? I don't even know. 111,634 miles. And I don't understand why ethanol is so expensive right now, since it's made with corn and not with fucking oil. I would like somebody to give me a straight answer. Bring the truck to a dealership that will be honest with me and not charge me, don't hammer me over the head to do a little fucking job. Fucking charge me $5,000 for the fucking service. And it's $1,400 worth of fucking the tools for the parts. Labor, $5,000. Who the fuck do you think you are? Listen, for $5,000, I'll fucking bring this truck to fucking Honda and I'll trade it for a fucking Civic. I'll walk away. I'll be making my payment just like I would normally. And GMC will never see me. I'll keep my stock though, because I know that's going to go up eventually. But I'm a little disappointed because, I didn't get no Denali. I don't get Denali prices. So what the fuck you charging me Denali prices for service when I'm buying the fucking basic car? I'm buying the bullshit nothing car. No balls stepping on the gas shit. I mean, I don't even have a fucking radio in here. I don't even have a big deal Bluetooth. I want to fucking play a CD. I got 10,000 CDs. Put a fucking CD changer back here. And, roadside assistance is useless. Excuse me. I'm done. I love the truck. But there's got to be a better system. So I'm going to make a rebuttal to this video. I don't give a fuck who watches this video. I'm not one of these YouTubers that are like, oh my God, please rate my video and give me a thumbs up and subscribe or whatever. Fuck you. I'm not worried about your fucking friendship or any of that bullshit. All I'm interested is somebody at GMC growing a fucking pair of balls, calling that dealership, straightening their fucking asses out, fire and hire whoever the fuck you got to. Take some fucking charge. Now, I know the company itself is going through different hands, or they already sold the place and it went through 4 or 5 different hands. Whatever the case is, I'm not interested in that. I'm only interested in getting the car fixed at a reasonable price and stop fucking doing shit to my truck that's not necessary. And then they were under there with the GMC. Well, oh no, you need to put new springs. You need to do all these. Who are you bullshitting? Go talk to someone that doesn't know any better, you fucking retard. I'm sure I will happily give you my VIN number or whatever, my name. You can look it up, do whatever you got to do. I don't want to bring the truck to just some random hillbilly mechanic somewhere and let him do shit, because I'm sure whatever GMC is saying is bullshit. You know what? I'm done. All right, thank you.